Hi all, hope you enjoyed the second episode of the non-league refereeing documentary, episode 3 now, and we're going to be talking all about promotion, the promotion scheme. We're here at Birmingham County FA where I started my refereeing career. We're going to speak to the RDO, the Referee Development Officer, Kieran Forrest, who has kindly invited us to a 5-4 promotion scheme CPD events. That's where promotion candidates that are trying to get to level 4, just like where I am now. So it's going to be interesting to see these referees, seeing how I was about a season ago, being in their shoes, revisiting that moment and seeing all things about the promotion scheme, what it is, what it includes, the criteria, and also we're going to show Kieran some of our clips because he is an EFL linesman. So we're going to show him some of our clips from the mic'd up session that we had last episode and see his thoughts about it. This isn't about fame, it's about respect for the game. I'm Maximus Court, a level 4 referee. This is the real side of what it's like to be a non-league referee. And this is the man in the middle.
Okay,
how are you? I'm good.
How
Want to talk about this promotion scheme then?
Should we walk and talk about promotion?
Let's do it then, mate. There we go. Happy days. So, Kieran, tell me, how does the promotion scheme work?
Yeah, so if you're 14 or 15 years old, you can apply for promotion from youth level 1 to youth level 2. That's really a progression point to give you the opportunity to learn how to referee, to give you a bit more skills, to have match day coaching visits and give you that best foundation in refereeing. When you get to 16 years old, you become a level 7 and you can enter the progression pathway in the open age game. In the men's pathway, that starts at level 7, moves to level 6 and level 5, and then of course level 4 and 3 in the semi-professional game. In the women's pathway, we start at level 4W, and that promotion to 3W then allows you to referee in the Women's National League. In the grassroots game, our level 7 to 6, 6 to 5 promotion is managed by us at the County FA. That requires you to officiate 25 matches at each tier of that and run the line a number of times as well. As part of that, you have some match day coaching visits, so that's where a member of the referee workforce comes out, watches your game, gives you some tips and guidance about what you could look at developing, but also really highlights the areas that you're really good at to give you that positive foundation to referee. And as part of that, you'll do some laws of the game exams, you'll have some learning and development opportunities called CPD, where we look at what you can do to get better at refereeing and actually give you some guidance and framework outside of just the FA referees course.
So Kieran, we're here at the CPD event, 5 to level 4, that promotion scheme, and then also from 4W to 3W. Just talk about the criteria, what does it mean as well for a CPD event like this hosted by Birmingham County as well?
Yeah, so at that time of year, back end of March, where we're really close to the 30th of April deadline for progression, and the 5 to 4, 4W, 3W promotion window allows match officials to go and officiate in the semi-professional men's game and in the Women's National League. So it's a massive step up in the expectations of football, and a lot of that process is managed through the FA and their LMS platform and their national in-service training events that are mandatory. But for us, we really like to have that touch point in match officials more frequently, so we meet with them in the summer, we meet with them in November, and again we meet with them in March, just to try and track their journey, to have that real nice face-to-face connection and provide some top up learning to try and make sure that we best prepare our candidates and our referees to be able to go and officiate in that semi-professional game.
Especially from my point of view, from that 5 to 4 promotion and the observations regarding that, it's always dwelling on a referee's mind when that observation comes in. What would be probably your top tip from a referee's development officer, which is a crucial role when it comes to refereeing? What would be your top 3 tips for going out into a game before getting observed?
I think it's really important to look at what you do well. So it's really, really easy in refereeing to get an observer report, scroll to the bottom at 5 to 4 and 4 to 3W and look at a mark and go, I need to get a 71.5 to progress. This is a 71.25, I'm not going to get promoted. And that's really structured and really embedded in refereeing. But for me, it's about what you do well, looking at the criteria, knowing the areas of your game that you're really strong at, and making sure that you can consistently reach those levels of performance, and then naturally everything will fall into place. So if you are a referee that's a really good communicator, can I make sure that in my reports my communication is noticed and recognised every so often? And if you can embed that and you move around the field of play well, regardless of what happens on the pitch, as long as you do what you do well, is highlighted and recognised. That's the best tip for me, is actually learn what you do well and make sure you do that every single week.
Brilliant stuff. And like you said, it's coming towards the back end of the season now. People will either be getting their promotion or be denied their promotion.
Yeah.
What would be the one important message, especially from a referee's development point of view? What would be your one message to the people that might have get that rejection from a promotion point of view? And maybe one message to the promotion candidates that are looking forward to going forward into their new career as a level 4?
Yeah, I think as a positive space, everyone that gets nominated to the FA, if you're selected or unselected, it's a massive achievement. It's a long 9 months as a season. You go through lots of ups and downs, but the opportunities that present for people that are promoted are there and quite clear and obvious that you get to referee at the next level. But where people are unselected and there's different elements and factors that go into it, the refereeing evolves in a way that you can always learn and reflect. And it might be one thing that happens that you learn and you take from that, and then 2 years down the line you are level 3 and maybe someone that was in your level is still a level 4. It all depends, and I think it's not a rejection. I think that's the biggest thing in refereeing, is you're not being rejected at a level.
Yeah.
There's loads of factors that go into it. It's performance based ultimately at the end of the day, and that's what happens when you get to the semi-professional professional game. It becomes a performance based level. So actually you need to learn, and as I said, around what do you do well, you keep those fundamentals going. That gives you the best opportunity.
Sweet, but I say it's fantastic for you to invite us down to tonight. It's really good, especially when I was in this kind of situation a season ago. So it'd be quite good to see some familiar faces, see you working on the pitch as well, especially with that training, and also talking about XYZ in the classroom. I think it'd be really good. So yeah, let's go and see the events and let's do it.
First section tonight is around a penalty of problems, and we're going to focus around areas in and around the penalty area that a penalty kick can have an offence committed. As I said when we started off this evening, this isn't going to necessarily be around foul detection or anything like that. This is making sure that we're best prepared as referees, and we're best prepared when we go and lead a team into the rest of the season, that collectively, as a group, we can maybe get a better outcome than what is there. Your task is to fill in the blanks. Should be fairly straightforward. Our next task is to break this down into our pre-match instructions. What I want us to think about, and we'll hand these out for you, is who has the primary focus in each area, based on the fact that 99% of us will be operating as either assistant referee or referee throughout the season. Encroachment by a defending player, encroachment by an attacking player, encroachment by both attacking and defending players, wrong kicker, illegal feint, ball kicked backwards. That's a lot of things for us to think about. So just consider potentially how we can spread this across the rest of the team now. Do you know what I genuinely think? Go on. How much of this is just collective responsibility? So how often we just switch off at penalty.
Yeah, 100%.
And like in our pre-match instructions, it's always offence by the goalkeeper. If it goes in, no one reacts, leave it. But most often, an offence that occurs is not an encroachment offence. The biggest thing in refereeing is that expect the unexpected. And this is a perfect example of that. How often does it happen? Very infrequently. But again, as we get to this end of the season and we've got penalty shootouts maybe, how does this permutation change? But actually, the more we work with assistant referees in this group as they move into semi-professional game, the more comfortable we have to be addressing some of these areas and actually trying to think about how we can empower the team, as we'll see in a minute, to have the confidence in each of these areas. Why do we think the emphasis potentially on the kicker, the wrong kicker maybe falling onto AR2? So what does their position on the pitch do that maybe allows them to have a really good view of this?
He may have a wider angle of the view. He's on the far side, so you can see everyone on the pitch.
Perfect, yeah.
So if it's penalty shootout scenario, the AR2 is back on the halfway.
Yeah.
It's got the names of the people taking the next kicks and controls that backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So he dictates what kick goes next, what kick for the right team.
Yeah, so very good point, Lek, in terms of open play. Actually, by assistant referee 2 being on a halfway line, they can actually see, so maybe not necessarily the wrong kicker, but actually if the referee clearly identifies the kicker and you see someone else, maybe that's something to think, oh, that doesn't look right, and being not afraid to take a challenge. In terms of penalty shootouts, it's different because the teams don't necessarily have to say who is taking the next kick. As long as assistant referee 2 is recording who is the kicker, maybe that's how we would do it, but they don't necessarily have to provide that full list in that penalty shootout. But very, very good point as a group, well done. So, as part of that penalty procedure, what's one thing we can ask as a ref when the player puts the ball down?
That's the answer to my question. Then we should be asking
and
making sure that person, anything after that is the wrong kicker.
Well, I don't know about you.
No, I don't. But I was very happy with it. But that's the argument against the law, isn't it? If you've not identified them and someone else takes it, can we say they're the wrong kicker?
So in your example, the goalkeeper and the encroachment, the goalkeeper's offence would come over here. Yeah, that's how I would process it, because this is most likely saved, not saved, would have occurred before a defending player would have encroached. The biggest thing I want us to take away from that as a group is to not just run down that case of switching off at penalty kicks. Because again, as I've said, it's a situation as a team we need to share across a group. Are we aware of how we can see all the players? How do we prioritise those offences that we spoke about earlier? And are we clear with the restart of play? So when we've shared that collective responsibility, or we shared that responsibility to the assistant referee, then consider, are we providing ourselves the best possible route as the ref to maybe recognise these offences? Collective responsibility example. When we spoke in this group around the wrong kicker, we can also potentially consider those offences by the kicker, like in this situation. So the kicker doesn't commit an offence here, ball goes in, outcome here, expectation is a goal. And that's where, when we spoke around divvying the responsibility up, as a team, we can share that load in this situation. Clearly identified kicker, illegal feint, kick not taken. So again, that indirect free kick isn't the route we need to take here. We're going to head outside onto 3G. So you'll need whistles, you'll need cards, and you'll need footwear for the 3G. You'll be out there for about an hour. Out here, we're going to focus around giving that development around moving towards the edge of the penalty area and creating ourselves a dynamic angle to give ourselves the best opportunity to try and get an accurate decision. We spoke earlier around knowing what you do well, and this movement around the penalty area is one of those things that help us do that well. So we're going to have a group of match officials up the top that are going to do some movement continuously. The main reason for that is these dynamic situations towards penalty area don't come often from being static, and we really want to promote that movement in midfield, crab in, sideways, forwards, backwards, so that we're on our toes and we're ready to attack the box. We've got two small-sided games going on over here where the focus is around players changing direction to try and emulate those offside situations when we look and grow and add assistant referees into this. And on that trigger, the refs are going to attack the penalty area. When the referees attack the penalty area, one of the two small-sided game groups are going to move in and create a clutter of angles for the referee to have to try and generate an angle to make a decision. The more that evolves, the more players get involved, and the more we really want the ref to move around the penalty area to create that dynamic movement angle.
So Kieran, a lot about the CPD event was talking about how can an assistant referee also work well within the team, and we talked about the penalty decisions and X, Y, Z. I'm going to show you a clip from the previous episode where I was mic'd up Sunday League setting just to get around the scenery of it all and everything, but I just want you to know and tell me about you and your profession on if this is correct and kind of talking about that points. So challenge comes in here. Penalty, could not be a penalty, referee gives a corner, I'm on the furthest side, players coming to me saying can I not get involved and X, Y, Z, this is what I have to say.
It's not a foul, he's got the right side, he's got the right side, no, he's got the right side, mate I can't see it, no. No, Dono, he's got right side. I can't judge that from over there. That's not my jurisdiction. No, that's not my choice over there. No.
So I talked there about jurisdictions and the credible area on my aspect side. It was on the opposite side of the pitch. You as a professional assistant referee, just give me your points on that.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting clip. Obviously, in grassroots football, you don't have the luxury to be able to directly communicate to a team. So I think in these situations at our level of football where we've seen tonight in grassroots game, the big thing and the big discussion is around what we expect from our referee team and what we expect the communication would take place with assistant referees. More often than not, our assistant referee involvement is using the flag and is in that 10 to 15 yard zone around them. Clearly that moves depending on if the referee's 30, 40 yards away, but in your example, the referee's in a reasonable proximity to the penalty area. It's over the far side of the penalty area to you as that active assistant referee. So the expectation really for you to get involved is limited, and that can be difficult to justify and comprehend sometimes because we're there as a team, but ultimately you're there to support the decision-making process. Referee has to be the lead decision maker in that situation, which they clearly are. What I think about in that is the interactions with the players. So the recognition of that's not my jurisdiction, that's not my role, is easier to be said that I have seen it and it's not a foul, the player clearly plays the ball. I think they're more useful and relatable words to players in that situation. I think especially at that grassroots game, if we speak in the players' language and what players will understand, it can help build that rapport and relationship. So if we speak around why can't you get involved, that's not my jurisdiction, does a player necessarily know that? Yeah. But if you've seen it clearly, you recognise it's not a foul by your communication, you can say it's not a foul. The player clearly plays the ball, it's a corner. And that, I think, is a justifiable enough answer to clear the conversation, actually allow that mutual level of respect. Some of the challenges we have where we say, no, I can't help. It allows a but why, but some factuality of it's not a foul, it's a corner, that level of factuality can close off some conversations, I think, in that situation.
Okay, sweet, brilliant stuff. So main there really is terminology, knowing kind of your standard of football, and then also making sure that we're giving factual information and not making it an open question in that jurisdiction, that we're inviting them conversations in. It's a really good point. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you to Birmingham FA for inviting us to the CPD event. Hopefully that has helped inspire a lot of you guys and people out there that are on the promotion pathway, understand what the promotion pathway is, the criteria, and also a little bit of an insight into a refereeing's world. We've got a big episode next. We're being mic'd up for a Step 6 game. It should be good, but if you haven't already, people, drop a follow, subscribe, and also comment as well.